for Rezora, and I hope by now you've gotten the news that it's free versus having to pay on a monthly basis, which we're excited about. And some folks are already taking advantage of it. Simone and Dave Alley have already sent their first stuff out, and actually early this morning maybe they did it last night, but I saw it first thing this morning. They actually even created a Canva piece for the marketing program that we're doing right now in regards to sending something out into your sphere of influence or your geographic farm area. And Simone, your ears must have been burning. I was just talking about you in regards to the piece that you sent out yesterday in regards to getting some comments. And
appreciate your feedback.
Yeah. And folks, that's a good thing. Just as a quick hit. Anyway, first thing we're gonna do is Vince is going to talk about Rezora. Then after that, I'm going to give you an update on these MLS regulations that start next Monday, the 15th. No big deal, but things that you need to be aware of, especially entering things in for purple only, which is something we've needed to have for a while. In regards to you've got something that happens between neighbors. I just signed off on one this morning where Steve White and Jim Bonner sold a property, nice significant property, to the neighbor who didn't want anybody else doing anything on other property. And so that may have already been in the MLS, but just assume that it wasn't. One of the things that we now have is you can actually put that in for comparable purposes only. So that if you're searching in that same area and it never came on the MLS, you wouldn't know about it. Had this conversation the other day with an agent in regards to it's important to kind of look at the tax records, look at RPR to see if there have been any private sales, because that can be a differentiator for you when you're talking to somebody about, hey, we're going to put your house on the market for this. And the reason is because these are in the MLS and here's a private sale that I found in my due diligence. And if no other agent brings that one up, especially if it pushes the price up a little bit, you can be the winner chicken dinner in that situation of the person say, well, nobody else told me about that one. And obviously you do your analysis very well. So anyway, we're going to talk about Rezora. We're going to talk about the MLS changes, and we'll take it from there. So Vincent, I'm going to let you take over, share the screen, and then once you're done, you can send it back to me, and I'll share the screen on the other stuff.
You got it. Okay, Rezora 2.0, here we go. Well, the last time I spoke about Rezora was what you can do with it. I'm going to go over a little bit about that today, but mainly I'm going to talk about how the responsibility of the agent, if you do decide to opt in. Again, there's no cost involved anymore. It's free, and we're training staff to be able to market on your behalf. So that limits this learning curve that you need to shoulder by having us send pieces out for you. So it is super easy. If you want to dig deeper, there is training. I can help with that. But in the interim, I just want to get you guys up and running so we can start getting these emails out. So a quick overview of Rezora. It is, let me let these folks in here. There we go. Geez. They're flocking in. So Rezora is an email marketing platform. It basically is connected to your MLS and your agent ID. And what it does is if you have a listing, it connects that to your, it's like a constant contact on steroids for real estate, right? So if you have a listing, you can really just drag and drop your listing information into an email and send it out. Super easy, takes about a minute. Also, if there's any kind of status change in the MLS, Rezora recognizes that and will send you an email that says, hey, I noticed you had a price change or you sold this property. Would you like to send this email out? And it composes an email for you, and you just hit approve and it goes out to whatever list you have decided to send it out to. So it's super automated, connected to your MLS, specifically for real estate and email. Okay, that being said, here is the responsibility of the agent. A couple things. I will create an account for you if you opt in, and you will need to do two things: import your contacts and fill out your profile. So if you've already been on Rezora, like Jay, I know you had an account, or you still have an account, or you had one from last time. We still have that account. So you're already kind of good to go. You just have to say, yes, I want in, and then we'll activate that account. If not, if you're starting fresh, this is what you do. You're going to log in. You'll get a login from me. You're going to go up to your profile, this right here, account and profile settings. And just like any other account, you're going to upload a photo right here. You're going to fill out all the necessary contact information, all your social media handles, whatnot. There's a profile photo and an agent logo photo. So the agent logo photo is what's going to be at the bottom of every email. So this is very important. This site is very important for your pieces to go out and branded with your name on it. So if you had some weird photo in here, it's going to go out in every piece of email. So you want to keep it tight and keep it branded to your specific brand. Picture you is always good. And then one of the most important things for us to be allowed to market on your behalf, at the bottom here in the bottom right, this must be checked. Allow marketer access. And that allows Mary, Jeannie, Sandy, myself, Rachel, and Green to access your account and send pieces out on your behalf. So that must be checked. That is key. So that's it for the agent profile. Fill it out, add a photo, check the box. So next thing you do is import contacts. And however you have contacts now, if you're just assembling these, get them into Google Contacts, or if you have a Constant Contact or MailChimp, you can export out of that. But I'll show you how to import a list real quick, and I'll show you how to create different lists and things like that. So what you want to do is you go to whatever platform.
Vincent,
Yeah.
real quick.
Am I going too fast?
No, it's fine. But you've got 10 or 12
Okay.
folks, which is great. I know a number of these folks have already kind of started, but
Yeah.
what you can do, folks, if it feels, I'm going to pick on Logan Claylo for a minute. If you're technology challenged, or you still feel like you're technology challenged, you're not giving yourself credit for being, farther along than you were before. Can't you set up something and they can share a screen or whatever, and you can help them work through setting up the profile? Because I think that's the big thing. I don't want anybody to feel like, oh, I can't do this, and so they're not. So, but
Yeah.
my guess is you can set up a Zoom or something, or meet them in person and actually get that set up so that they can start moving forward, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
And if if you don't want to make a career out of it filling out your profile, if you're really stuck, just give me a call and I'll do it for you, right? Or I'll show you how to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't want you to stumble on the first step. We want to move the ball down the field.
Yeah, the thing that's really important about anything like this, folks, is just getting it set up. Once you get it set up, this works for you.
Yeah.
It makes life so much easier. It markets yourself out in a much more efficient and quality way. But you gotta get it set up to move forward. So please take the time.
Yeah. So again, profile, fill out all the necessary information, add a photo, and check this box. Key. Underline that on your notes. Okay. So once you're done with that, you can go up here to contacts, and we're going to import contacts. Super easy. And generally anything, I'm getting more people coming in. Anybody who has it's a CSV file. That's the export file type. Don't get hung up on it. If you're in Google, it'll ask you for a Google CSV file or a Outlook. It's a CSV file. It doesn't matter. What they're asking for is formatting. So you're just going to say yes to either, and I'm going to show you how to move your way through it. And I can help you with this as well. So import CSV file. Super easy. You're going to import contacts. If you want to do it by hand, they give you a already formatted sheet here. You can actually enter them by hand if that's the way you're doing it. But it's best to import it. So begin importing. I already have it to my desktop here. Let me just It is right here. It'll process. And this is all of our agents with Roy Wheeler. So this is where it gets a little complicated because you have to tell it what each field means. So obviously first name here, right? You want to confirm, that's the first name. So that's the first, like any kind of Excel spreadsheet. Confirm, there's no middle name, last name is there. Everything else is ignored because it's blank. Email address is confirmed. It kind of does it for you, right? As we go down all these fields, don't worry about it. If it's ignored, it's ignored. It's good. See how easy that was? Review. And there it is. So first name, last name, email addresses. That's really all you need. And you hit continue. And I say, yes, I'm ready to submit. And it's going to ask me, do I want to add to a list or sphere? Like part of Rezora is you have a primary sphere, and then you have individual lists. And I don't want to go too deep on this because I'm going to glaze everybody over on this. So primary sphere is everybody, right? Everybody that you'd like to send out to. That's how I use it. And then individual lists are like, you could do like hot leads, former clients, new contacts that are just in the beginning of that buying cycle for looking for a house, right? Because you can possibly send different messaging to different clients, right? You're not going to send a first-time home buyer message to a former client. So we want to keep that straight. So we're just going to create a new list, and I'm going to call this a test list. And it creates a list, and then you hit execute import. And what happens is it brings them all in. You'll see up here, it starts spinning around, and then you're done. And that's all you guys need to do. That's it as far as setting up your profile. If you get stuck on importing, I can help you export out of Google or whatever and bring it in for you. But I have the feeling everybody knows this is free, and we get 100 agents, it's going to be like kind of a traffic jam. So the best thing to do is kind of learn how to do it, and I can help you through it. So any questions? I know this is super exciting data. Oh man, everybody loves this. It's like I'm talking to my kids.
For those of you that are already for those of you that are already in here a little bit, talk a little bit about how it's gone and what you found so far.
I started an account when we had an opportunity to a while ago, and it was pretty simple to do. I think I exported all my contacts from MailChimp, and didn't have a lot of difficulty doing it.
And Jay, how has it worked? Because I use MailChimp for my blog, and when I get a moment, I'm gonna sign up for this myself, and I think I may switch over my blog stuff onto this because of how easy it is to do it. And I find in MailChimp really easy to export for sure. Like if people don't, by looking, people who haven't opened the blog, I can actually go in and export just the people who haven't opened it and just send them a reminder. But it sounds like, and you tell me, but it sounds like that the export was really easy to do, and what this provides for you versus what you had is better, especially from a real estate perspective, right?
Well, I didn't use Rezora a whole lot, so I can't really speak to how easy it is to use relative to MailChimp. I think I only sent out 1 or 2 newsletters. I didn't find it difficult, but I can't really speak to all of its functionality. But the import process, the exporting my contacts from MailChimp into a CSV file and then getting those into Rezora was simple.
Yeah, and I don't think Ryan or Logan are on the call. They've been kind of using it regularly, and actually, yep. Vincent had them on the call with the staff, and I think Simone, you were on that call as well.
Yeah.
And I think they found it helpful. Any thoughts that you have, Simone?
Michael, I started using it, I guess last month was our first newsletter, and I really did it just because so much of our business up until now has been through, I mean, 100% of my business has just really been through networking. And with COVID, we just don't have those opportunities out and about. So I also imported my list of contacts. I had about 150, and I imported them from Outlook after Vincent gave me a little one-on-one tutorial about how to sort of set the whole thing up. It also motivated me to sort of get all of my social media in line. As you know, I changed some of my names on some of my Instagram and got a little more focused with Facebook. And we've had, I'm getting daily and weekly updates from Rezora. I think we've had about 225, 230 people have clicked through the newsletter so far. So I feel like it's effective. I've definitely gotten some comments from, you know, my sphere. No leads yet, but hoping for those too.
Oh, great.
So I've noticed that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to move on to another question. Go ahead and speak to that. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say that one thing that I find interesting with Rezora is the open rate is much higher with Rezora than it is with Constant Contact or MailChimp. So we use Constant Contact for the brokerage. So I'll compare like a new listing that we sent out with Constant Contact to Rezora, and Rezora is much higher. And I think it's just the way it's formatted. It seems that it kind of squeaks through the spam filter easier with Rezora. I think a lot of Constant Contact gets filtered out. So that's one good thing with Rezora. So go ahead, Michelle.
Yeah, thanks, Vincent. I'm going to be importing my contacts out of the Buffini referral maker. And in there, there's like 100 different fields. Is that going to mess me up in exporting it, or should I select what I'm exporting out?
No, when you can, if you want, you can decide what you want to import in. When you do import it, Rezora actually recognizes the different fields, and you have to confirm that in Rezora before you execute the import. So if you want to have the first name, last name, email, home address, you know, down the line, you can confirm that in Rezora. So
would any of those things be used through any of the functionalities in Rezora, the home address or anything like that, or is it just
not really? No, okay. This is pure email. So okay. I think that first, last name, email is pretty key.
Okay, thank you.
But Michelle,
so
hang on up to Michelle. The one thing you want to keep in mind though is, you know, doing that in Rezora, make sure you don't delete or get out of the other one without having some other place that you've got the address, phone numbers, things like that. Because one of the things that I would tell you is, going back to what Simone said, as she sends these out on a regular basis, and if she and Dave start taking time to follow up and just pick up the phone and calling some of these folks saying, hey, I hope you've got my newsletter, or hey, thanks for opening my newsletter, because you're going to know they did. I really appreciate you checking out the newsletter. What'd you think? Are there things you'd like me to include in the future? You know, that kind of thing. Now you're taking it to the next level where you're sending them stuff. Now they're getting a personal touch from you. And then with the good, you know, conversations with those folks, then you write them a personal note. Hey, it was great talking to you today. Thanks for your input. Look for my next newsletter to talk about where interest rates are going in 2021, or, you know, home renovation ideas, or whatever they bring up. Just make a note so that you find an article that you can put in that shows that you listened to them and included them in getting their feedback, and included that in your next communication.
Okay.
Go ahead, Barb.
I just thought of something. If you have a couple on your list that share, they just use one email between them, is it okay to put both at like Bill and Sue, and then their last name, and then that one?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, or you could just put two contacts with the same email.
Okay.
But they're gonna get double emails, just so you know.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So I want to talk now really quick about a couple of the things that I think are really powerful in Rezora that you guys can utilize. And the first thing that really sold me on this was not only is it easy to create all these marketing pieces, but it's called listing automation. And that is the MLS connection to Rezora. And if there is any kind of status change in a listing, you are notified, right? So you can see right here under marketing materials this is the brokerage account, which is similar to a sales agent account. And you go to here to listing automation, and it shows you all of sold, new listings, and price changes. And you can send out these pre-made emails based on the status change in the MLS right there. So not only is you can do it here, I try not to send emails out every day because we don't want to just like blast emails out every day. It turns into spam and people get like banner blindness. They just like, billboard blindness. You drive down the same billboard every day, you just forget to see it. So you kind of space it out, right? If there's a new listing coming out, definitely sending it out. If there's solds I send out, or a price change, definitely send that out. But a lot of the times I'm just laying low. So not only is it here, but I also receive an email that says, hey, you've got a listing change. Do you want to send this email out? From my phone, I hit yes, approve. I look at it, looks good. I hit approve, and it sends it out for me. So again, if you're on the trail with a listing and you're trying to get things sold, you have a price change or anything like that, and you want to market that via email to your list, perhaps you have people that are on your list that are looking for a home, right? New listing. It does all the work for you. You don't have to go in and create an email and send it out. So that's one thing, listing automation here. The other thing is all these marketing pieces are templated. So to create it, you could come in and create your own marketing piece if you want, or the staff can do it. If you want something specific template built to you, so it's branded to you, let me know. I'll build that for you. And that way you're accessible to that template as an agent. Does that make sense? So if like Simone and Dave's newsletter here, you're not going to be accessible to that. You can't send out a newsletter that says Dave and Simone, right? Only they can access that. I believe Jay's got a newsletter in here somewhere. We've got Roy Wheeler newsletter right here. So what we don't want is every Roy Wheeler agent to be sending out the same looking newsletter, right? You want to brand it yourself under Roy Wheeler. It's still going to be the green, but you can individualize these things. So let me know, and I can create that for you guys when you sign up.
Hey Vincent, can I ask a question? I'm in the car. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. This is
Awesome.
Caitlin.
Hey guys, it's Caitlin.
Hey,
Caitlin.
what's happening?
Hi guys. All right, so I have like agents and I have my family and I have clients. Can I peel off who I don't want to send this newsletter to? Can I categorize?
Yes. So under contacts, I don't know if you probably can't see, but I'm going to tell you.
I'm not looking at the screen. I'm listening to all the words.
I'm going to walk you through it. You can create you can create lists, specific lists like family, clients, past clients, and you can drag and drop whoever you want into each list. So yes, you can definitely differentiate who you want to mail your messaging to. Yeah, you don't want to send a blanket send to everybody if you're really trying to focus on a targeted message. Yeah,
because that's how it's going to be when I import my Google contacts. It's going to be, my aunts, my uncles, and my clients. So I have to categorize those.
No, what you would do is if you have them already separated in Google, you would export them each individually and then import them into Rezora as family, uncles, aunts, whatever. Right. And I can help you with that if you get stuck.
Okay. Thank you.
It's pretty easy. You're welcome. So that's about it. Do you want me to go through how to do a marketing piece, or are we completely burnt out on this yet?
Vincent, can I ask a question?
Sure, of course.
Is there a number of contacts above which our newsletters are more likely to get caught in filters? And I ask that question because I've been sending out newsletters via MailChimp, and I think when I sent out one or two via Rezora, I actually didn't hear as much feedback as I did when I sent out via MailChimp, but I have over 1,000 contacts.
Okay. What I've noticed from that is it's not the number of contacts, it's the subject line. So what's
Okay.
happening is a lot of email platforms scrub the subject line. So if it says for sale or something like that, or any kind of promotional type of thing, like Gmail will filter it into the promotional tab if you have that in Gmail.
Yeah.
So I think the subject line is super key. Obviously, I just sent one out that said hand-picked properties that wow, right? Who's not going to open that? And it got a super high open rate because I think the subject line is key. If I just put listings for you, doesn't have any zing.
Okay.
But yeah, I would focus on the subject lines, and there's like endless Google pages on how to write a good subject line.
Okay.
I can help you with that as well. Yeah.
But it's not related to the number of people we're sending it to.
No, because I send out to, over 2,000 folks and
Okay.
super high open rates. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other Rezora questions? Okay. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to resend out in an email that link. Actually, I will do it right now. How's that? I'm going to show you how to do this. Create a new marketing piece, and I'm going to send this out to everybody, which is right here. And I'm going to throw a couple listings on this just because why not, right? The other thing is you could type in MLS numbers and add listings that way, but I'm just going to do this. It's just going to our agents. A couple land listings. Let's see here. That's a good one. That's a good one. Let's preview it. So this is the Rezora kind of overview. Here is the link to sign up. Please sign up. Go up, sign up with your name and email, and I'll create an account for you guys. So this will come in your email. There's a couple listings in there. You'll see how Rezora works. And I'm going to send it out to all of Roy Wheeler agents. Read this. Okay. Do not delete. So basically what it did was I added a couple listings to it. It was already a template made, and this is what it looks like when you get it in your inbox. It's already done. I'm going to send it out to not everybody. See right here, this is my primary server. That's everybody. But we're going to do to an individual list, which is Roy Wheeler agents, which is right here. I'm going to drag and drop this into the green box. And I just want to drag this one in just in case, because we have a couple lists going on here. Okay. And then it's automatically going to go to all these folks, which is you guys. And you can schedule it for later here, or I can send it out right now.
Whoa. Don't send it yet.
Okay.
I'm looking at those emails, and a lot of those people aren't our agents.
Ann Adams, Alex.
Oh, I'm looking
Frederick,
over to the
Alex
left.
Hicks,
I'm sorry.
Alex,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
No.
I'm sorry. I'm
That's
looking
okay.
over at
I'm
contacts.
sorry.
Apologize.
Yeah.
Apologize. Yeah.
I saw your eye. I saw steam coming out of your ears.
No steam. Just wait a minute. Hang on.
So yeah, so on the left is all of your contacts. You'll see
Gotcha.
here, and then on the right is anything that you want to send out. So
Gotcha.
I should
Sorry.
have clarified that.
That's all right.
And here are individual lists. So everything on the right is where you choose from. Anything on the left is like the whole shebang.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to send it out now. I hit send now, and it says, "Are you sure you want to do this?" You didn't, Uh-oh. See where it says monthly newsletter? We do not want that. We want to go back here and change. I forgot something. You have to save this. You have to save the subject line, or it will
Revert back to
There you
the
go.
last thing you did.
Yeah, and that's the last thing you want.
Yeah.
So hit save, select email recipients, Send it to everybody on your list. Just kidding. Go to the list that you want to send out to, drag and drop into the green. And I did do both because it's going to recognize duplicates, by the way. Hopefully. I could be wrong on that, but if you get 2 emails, it'll give you 2 seconds. Send now. And there we go. This is your subject line. You want to make sure that is tight. And then it's going to 100 folks. I think staff is included in that. So hit continue. And your piece was set to 98. So it scrubs it. So that's it. So everybody should get an email with Rezora. So what you want to do is go to that link. It's a Google sign up, Google Doc, put your name, first name, last name, sign up.
Got
Good
it.
to go.
Just got the email. Okay, you want to switch me
Okay.
back?
Oh, sorry. Yep. I'm doing it. Hang on. There you go. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right. So now we're going to go. Oh, heck. Why isn't that showing up? There it is.
I didn't get it.
All right. I'm sharing. Here we go. All right. This is what's going to be happening on the 15th of February. And I'm going to expand this a little bit so you can see a little bit better. 2021 MLS changes. The first thing you see in there, and by the way, I have the pleasure of being on that MLS master group. So if you have any issues with this, I guess you know who to come to. But we completely went back in and revamped the rules and regulations document. Most of that stuff you could care less about. But if you do, you can go into the MLS documents link on the Paragon homepage and read all about it. Super Cree agreement is located under the MLS documents link on that same homepage. And then lockbox policy number 10 located under the MLS documents in the Paragon homepage. One thing that we did, I don't know if it'll be here later, but we have entered into a lockbox partnership with Lexington. Lexington wanted to have the ability to gain access, have the same lock boxes and keypads and everything. And so we've worked that out. The one thing you want to just remember, if you do have a Lexington agent that wants to show one of your listings, or if you want to show something in Lexington, remember that you're not in the same offer of compensation as far as the MLS is concerned. So you need to be, they need to be asking you for permission and agreeing to the offer of compensation, whatever you've offered in the MLS, and vice versa. Before you go down there and show property, you want to have something in writing back from that agent that they are offering compensation and how much it would be. Funny story of how not to do it. One of our agents is actually trying to help somebody buy a property down there. It's a Fannie Mae owned property, and he talked to me. I walked him through it. He called the agent and said, hey, I want to show this property. Can you meet us at the property? Guy told him he was too busy. He's got too much going on. He can't, meet him there and say, well, can I get the key? And I guess they worked out him getting a key at the office or anything. So anyway, no help at all. But then he said, because I told him to, okay, well, I just want to make sure that there's an offer of compensation, and I'd like to send you an email and have you send me something back. So confirming that the offer of compensation be accepted. And the guy goes, I don't know what the offer of compensation is. Sorry. I'll have to get back to my office to check on it. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me, because we couldn't get in the MLS to look at it. Anyway, we finally got it worked out, but I'm thinking, oh my gosh, if Fannie Mae knew that this is the way their properties were being handled, I'm sure they would try to find somebody else to do it. But anyway, the point being is, in these rules and regulations, you'll see that we've entered into that. Fiona is saying that she didn't receive the email, Vincent.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Barb says she did. I got it, but I don't know. Maybe you guys are farther down the roster as K and T. But anyway, if you could check on that, Vince, that'd be great. So the second thing, which I talked about a little earlier, is comparable only. You want to go into Appendix H, to understand what it means. But basically, what it's doing is it's an off-the-market property, and what you're doing is you're just putting it in. You're just putting it in for comparable purposes only. There won't be days on market. There won't be current days on market. It literally is just for somebody to be able to find it when they're searching, sold data. You see the definition: real estate transactions in which a car MLS subscriber has participated as the agent, but which were sold outside the MLS. They now may be entered in the MLS. The purpose of these is increase the data for making comparable market analysis of future listings and giving credit for these transactions to the agent. So that's another thing, is that in the past, you couldn't receive credit for it, whereas now you're going to put it in, and let's say you represent the seller on it. Like the one I was talking about before, as we started today, a neighbor wants to buy the property, buyer is unrepresented. You're going to put it in as comparable only as you as the listing agent and not as the selling agent. I'm not sure. I think you probably in that field you would put non-MLS or something like that. But bottom line is you're going to receive credit for it. That is only going to be available to car MLS subscribers. So this information is not going out to Zillow or Realtor.com or things like this. This is literally going to be for you as it relates to getting the best data you can to advise your clients. And that's the next one. It's not going to be in the IDX, which is obviously the information data exchange. They have to be entered within 7 calendar days of the closing date. From February 15th to March 15th, so starting Monday, you're going to be able to enter, if you have some of these that never were put in MLS, you can put them in that their grandfathering. In that month time frame, you can put those historical listings in as far back as August 1st, 2020. But starting March 16th of 2021, March 16th, 2021, it has to be within 7 calendar days. Comparable only listing to be started from a partial status. Hopefully you guys know what that means. That's part of that's in Paragon. I don't sell, so I've never done any of that type of thing as far as adding listings. So hopefully you know what that means. If not, check with Mary or Sandra or Rachel or Jeannie. All of them would be happy to help you with that. They can be copied and cloned from sold, expired, withdrawn listings if it's the same agent or broker. So if you had something and it expired or was withdrawn for some reason, and then it goes back and sells without going back to the MLS, you can clone that. If not, you just got to enter it in again. Status viewable and searchable by car subscribers only, not even for Greater Augusta or Harrisonburg, which serve our same MLS. It's just for us. And it'll be available in these classes: residential, land, rental, and multifamily. Same set of required fields will be mandatory for listing entry. So it's not like you can just put, it's sold and this is the price. You go through, and it's not going to let you do it unless you've filled in all the required fields. Any questions on that? I think it's pretty self-explanatory. It doesn't happen that often, but it can happen. So I'm really glad that we finally get this put in place. Okay, moving to number 3, seller concessions. When a listing is marked as sold, there are now 2 additional fields that are required: seller concessions. And so again, this for comparable purposes, that you sell a house for $300,000 and the seller pays 3% in closing costs. People need to know that there was a $9,000 credit on that $300,000 sale. Prior to February 15th, this field could include both pre and post ratification concessions. Now it's going to be called seller paid closing costs, and you'll just be asked to fill in the dollar amount. It can be 0, but you're going to have to put something in there. And then the new required field of additional seller credits, agent will be asked to fill in dollar amount. Again, can be 0. Add tooltip to the side, negotiated post ratification. So this would be like at a walkthrough, something else happens and the seller agrees to pay $500 in closing costs that they hadn't agreed when they ratified the contract. This would be an additional field that you would put in, and you're going to have to do that as it relates to to close it out. It won't let you do it unless you fill in that required field. And then the fourth one, which I think is really important, there's now going to be a checkbox underneath compensation type that reads commission not paid on closing cost. This checkbox is not a required field, okay? But if your seller is selling their property again at $300,000 and it's a 6% commission, unless otherwise noted in the listing agreement, they're paying 6% on 300,000. They're not paying on 6% on 300,000 minus 9,000, which would be 291. There's some agents that just assume you know that. Assume that you know that if there's seller concessions, then the commission is going to be reduced to 291. No, unless it's noted in the MLS now with a checkbox, then the offer of compensation is 3% of the sales price, not 3% of the sales price minus concessions. If this box gets checked, then you've been notified that the compensation has been modified. Time and time again, agents say, well, we're only going to pay on the net. And my question is, what does your listing agreement say? And, oftentimes they there isn't anything in the listing agreement, and therefore the buyer compensation is 3%. And even if they have it in the listing, shame on them for not letting you know. In the past, I would have told you if you're going to do it that way, you would put it in the agent remarks, commission to be paid on price minus seller concessions. Well, now what we've done is we've created a box that notifies you. And my guess is that if you wanted to, not a bad idea, when you're going out to show property to the hundreds of houses that are on the market right now. So you've got 15 or 20 that you're showing every day, obviously being very facetious. You could search by this field. So at least you know that these are the ones that you're being paid X% of sales price, and these are the ones you're being paid X% of sales price minus seller concessions. So that's why that's there. Questions on that? Hopefully that'll be helpful. We also approved the MLS changes which will now take effect on March 1st, not to make things a little bit more confusing, not February 15th. Cumulative days on the market and days on market, off market time, this is a good thing, to clear cumulative days on market and days on market will now be 60 days versus 90 days. So if somebody decides at Thanksgiving, or let's say for better sake, they decide in mid-August or mid-July that they want to take their house off the market in the summer and they want to come back strong in the fall. Well, now they can come on, take it off mid-July, August 15th, they can put it back in the market September 15th, and the cumulative days and the days on market go away. Whereas before they would have had to wait till October 15th for that to happen. So I think that's a good thing. It allows people to have that time off, restage the property, get it fixed up, whatever, and come back on and not be penalized for it because it's truly not on the market during that time period. It's long enough that people don't game the system, if you will. Reports, following changes will affect reports. Please be sure to update your personal reports to accommodate the changes. We're increasing public remarks to 1,250 characters to allow you to get more information in there. So when it goes out through RETS or through information data exchange, the folks out there get more information. And it also increases the agent remarks to 1,250. And just for the fun of it, they've increased the pictures to 75. Now, again, that's a lot of pictures. And not every property needs that many. I will use this minute to say, please get professional pictures done of your listings. People are much more, they're going online first. It's the first impression, that kind of thing. The last thing you want to do is have several things look really good and yours look like it was taken with your iPhone. I don't know. I'm part of a little Facebook group that I got invited into. I think from it was Williamsburg or something, but it's called Bad MLS Photos, and it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. If you go on Facebook and you put in the search field "Bad MLS Photos," you might find it, and you might ask to be invited in there. But I mean, there are pictures. Where the one I saw yesterday was the person photoshopped the front yard so that it had green grass, no trees on the leaves, snow on the bushes. And they weren't paying attention. They literally photoshopped the driveway too. So the grass literally goes up to the garage door. I mean, and then there's another one. It was kind of funny. It's a small kitchen, and you walk in and you open up one of the cabinets and there's a toilet. And so they had this second toilet in their kitchen underneath one of the cabinets. You opened it up and there was a little door, and you could, while you're cooking, you can do two things at once. Anyway, the point being is that's a lot of pictures. Please, professional, remember Vincent is ready to help you with Matterport, 360-degree photography at a reduced cost, and that makes a huge difference. I'm thinking, Vincent, you might want to confirm this, but I think that even with this increase, I think Realtor.com only allows 50. Now, the important thing about that is when you search in Realtor.com, there's a search thing where it says pictures, and so the more pictures you have, if you want to have the limit, because your properties will show up at the top if somebody's searching by number of photos. If somebody only has 3 photos, that one's going to be at the bottom. Whereas if you've got a bunch of them, yours is going to search and show up more at the top of the page, which is what you want. Vincent, do we have any listings that have 75?
75 photos? No.
Yeah. And isn't
No,
there a
maybe-
limit? Isn't there a limit of how many transfer into Realtor.com or Zillow?
I don't know. That's third party stuff. I think there's a limit, because even on luxury portfolio, you can do over 100, I believe.
Okay.
So I'm sure there's a limit, but I can't imagine it's more than 75 to 100.
Yeah, Barb, I'll get you in just a second. The other thing too is when you go into Realtor.com, it should tell you, let's just for the sake of discussion, say it's 50 and you do 75. Make sure the 50 that you want are your first 50. Because they're not going to sort them and say, oh, I like this one better, and these are the 50 we're going to use. They're going to take the first 50 that come into the feed. So if you're doing miscellaneous things like a picture of the neighborhood sign or the swing, well, you might want the playground or, the Kroger a mile away or whatever. If you're using those kind of photos, you want them at the bottom. So when they feed in, only the number that they take, the top ones are the ones you want to make sure that get in there outside of those miscellaneous ones. Go ahead, Barb.
The other day I came across one, a listing that had no picture at all. Isn't that against the rules? Doesn't Carr have something about?
Yeah, my guess is they got that. It'd be interesting for you to go back in there and look again, because my guess is they got dinged for that they got one of those Carr violation things and said, hey, there's no photo here. That's one of those things that auto searches. You also, when you see that kind of thing, you can click a button and report it confidentially. You're not nobody's going to know you sent it, but and you don't have to be mean about it. Just say, hey, I noticed this doesn't have a photo. Was there a glitch or something? So you give the person the benefit of doubt, but then, Carr MLS will send something out and get that corrected. But yes, there has to be at least one photo by regulation.
Okay.
Other thoughts, questions? Summarize it pretty good for you.
Is this list available, or will you send that out, or is it on Carr?
Hang on a second. If you look right now, hang on, I'm gonna stop sharing the screen because we're done with that. You look in the chat, and Vincent, when I send you this recording, maybe add that to the MLS rule change. Just add this link. It's www.carr.com/2021-MLS-changes. Pretty easy. And it'll take you right to this page that I just went on. All right. Well, that's all I got. I hope you guys have a great morning, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Hey,
Bye.
Mike.
Thank you very much, Michael and
Yeah,
Vincent.
our pleasure.
Hey, Mike,
Thanks, guys.
question.
Yeah.
or maybe Vincent.
Hang on
Uh,
a second. Hang on a
Do
second.
we have a connection to a sign company if we want to have some small corrugated signs made? I found some online, but I thought I would check